Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out another episode of Future Conversations with NERKS. I have been away for a while. I will just say that mental health is a bitch. It's real. Um, I had a little bit of things I needed to work out with anxiety and stuff, and I am back now, having taken care of all that, and I wanted to try and do something different here today. As you can probably see, my brother is not here with me. We're having a conversation with a friend of mine. We've been friends for like over 5 years now, I think. This is Noah. Noah is going to talk with me, be my first guest ever on this new style of Future Conversations with NERKS, which I'm super excited about. Noah, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Like, who are you? How old are you? Like, how did we meet? What are you into? What do you do?
Well, I'm Noah. I'm 25. I live up in DC, and I basically work for a company where I'm just doing like service calls all the time. It's not really what I'm like extremely passionate about, but fixing is kind of like my thing.
Yeah.
But I'm super passionate about just technology in general, just kind of the future of where everything is going and these huge advancements that we've been seeing recently.
Yeah.
So just kind of all that stuff. And we met at Target originally.
Yes. Yes.
And we
And
would always just be having conversations about the future. So it's crazy.
yeah, I will say that to the people that know I carry around two phones, like an iPhone and a Pixel. I do that because of Noah. Noah was the first person
I also do.
that
My iPhone is actually the camera right now, but
that you're using. Yeah, yeah. I was inspired by Noah, and that is the reason why I have two phones. It's his fault. Um, but that kind of leads me into a very controversial topic. I don't think it's controversial for the both of us. I think we're pretty level-headed about it. But as we're talking about like the future and what's coming up next, we both have the opportunity to try uh, very powerful computers. We have both the Android version and the iOS version, iPhone version of it. The first question I'll ask you though is like, what's your favorite between Android and iOS? What is your favorite phone to use right now?
right now I'm on the Pixel 8 Pro as like that's what's got my SIM card in it. And
Yeah,
I this is my favorite phone that I've ever had, I feel like. Just it feels
facts.
snappy. Like I've been on the Pixel train for a while now. I had the 4, and then I had the 6 Pro, and now I've got the 8 Pro.
Yeah,
And the 6 Pro is what actually pulled me off of the iPhone just because of like the way that it feels, the way it works, the Googleness of it.
yeah.
And
The
then this 8 Pro
Googleness.
is exactly it's like
Googleness.
stuff like screen calling and just the Google Assistant, like how it works. It like I've got a Galaxy S22 for work, and I I enjoy it, but just the system UI is like I don't know. Samsung's doing too much in some ways, I feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now it's the Pixel 8 Pro, just the camera, and just like how refined it's gotten at this point.
So you're actually rocking with three phones.
Technically, yes. That
That's
work phone is
wild.
so locked down though. It's literally just got
Okay.
whatever apps they give me.
Okay. Okay. But that's interesting because you used to be iPhone and now you're over to Android. Like what is it about the Pixel aside from the camera and a little bit more freedom for you to kind of customize it and do whatever you really want with it? What is it about Android that is like iPhone? I'm just gonna main the Android phone. iPhone is like my secondary.
I like what Apple's been doing. Like, I've been staying on the beta still. Every time there's a new beta update, I put it on my iPhone just to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
But there was like a certain point for me in it was like iOS 15 or 16. It just got super buggy. And my whole reason that I was
Okay.
always on iPhone was I was like, it just works. Like everything
Yeah.
works great. And then it stopped doing that. I was like, well, now I'm just kind of stuck in the ecosystem. So the hardest part was definitely iMessage. Like getting off of
Yeah.
iMessage, it's like people get mad at you for no reason.
The
I've been
green
kicked out of family
bubbles.
group chats for it.
For
Exactly.
bringing the green bubbles into the messages.
Yep.
that's
But that's pretty much where it started over for the transition. Was like, okay, Android is kind of making some big moves right now with all the AI stuff, but kind of
yeah,
back then it was like, oh wow, it's like they're making this look nice now.
yeah.
Android didn't really look nice for a long time.
Do you think was it well? What Android phone was the first phone for you where it was like, oh, this aesthetic is different. Oh, the phone actually feels nice in my hand. Like this is something that I could carry around for my main.
I I think it was the Pixel 4, whatever the bigger version of that one was. I can't remember what they called it,
Okay,
but it was like the Pixel 4, the larger screen one. And it had like
okay,
the face unlock, which actually worked pretty good
yeah,
with Project
yeah,
Soli.
yeah.
RIP, but but yeah, that was the first one that I was like, okay, the haptics are really nice. The keyboard, like when you're typing on a keyboard on an Android phone, if it's got good haptics, it
It
feels
feels
nice.
good. Yeah, it feels so good. Well, so now you are Android, and like you said, they had Google Assistant, and I think to like main like iPhone users that are very biased about which phone is better, they're gonna say that Siri is better than Google Assistant. We both know that's not true at all. Google Assistant is a way
Yeah.
better is a way better assistant. But now we're looking at Google getting better in the artificial intelligence space, competing with OpenAI, competing with Microsoft, Copilot, and stuff like that. Um, how do you feel about what Google is doing with AI, and are you seeing like any differences in the way that you're using your phone? And how do you feel about iPhones? I don't want to say hesitancy, but like they're very slow, very very slow to release something to get into this space.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely just kind of the Apple way, how it's usually been. They're gonna wait until they can make sure it's like perfectly refined, which
Yeah,
is kind of why I've been watching this Apple Vision Pro coverage, and I'm like, this is not an Apple product. Like, this looks
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
But like in terms of Google Assistant and everything, and seeing how it's been changing now that with the iteration of Bard and now Gemini, and
yeah.
now at this point, like Gemini has completely replaced my Google Assistant when
Yes,
I hold down the
yep,
lock button and get
yep,
so it's definitely crazy to see this AI just kind of like built in now.
yeah,
But I've been using it in new ways that I haven't really thought about a lot because I'll
hmm,
type anything into Google. I'm a type of person that if I don't know it, I'm gonna figure it out just
yeah,
researching it. But like Gemini and Bard has opened that up to where I can type whatever is in my mind. I don't have to think about, oh, how can I phrase this to find results that are gonna make sense. If it
yeah.
doesn't give me what I'm looking for the first time, I can just text back to it and be like, actually, this is what I meant. And it's like, oh, okay, here you go.
The efficiency in your like you're able to be so much more efficient with doing research, and I feel like it cuts the time it would take naturally for you to Google something and then go through all the links and get the information you're looking for from each link and maybe put that in a Google Doc and like try and like find out what you're looking for if you were doing like really big research. That's pretty much the same way I'm using it for, except I'm also using Perplexity, and that's something that the
Mm.
audience probably doesn't know what Perplexity is. Um, but I use Perplexity as well and Google Gemini to just do exactly what you said. Like, I have a thought, format this thought for me in better words, and let's dig into it. And then go into Gemini and put this in a Google Doc and save it for me, and I'll come back to it later. And it's so much more efficient than before. Um, do you think that iPhone is going to come out next year with more upgraded Siri?
I feel like at some point in time it's going to happen. I think next year with iOS 18, it's probably going to be like the first, like, okay, you're starting to see a little bit of AI
Something.
in iOS.
Mm,
But I'm interested to see how Apple handles that because they are
yeah.
very much like, okay, it's not going out till it's polished. And AI, I feel like can be I don't think that they would just give a general AI because that's too general for
Yeah.
Apple. You could use it for things that they don't necessarily want you to.
Yeah.
So I think that they're going to implement it in very specific, direct ways where it's like, oh, the Photos app has AI now. But I don't know if they would just throw Gemini-esque, like Apple's version, on your
Yeah.
phone and replace Siri with it. That's a
Yeah.
big jump.
It is. Yeah. I agree with you. I agree. I think I'm sorry, Apple fanboys, but I think you may have to wait like 2 more years until you get something to the level of Gemini on your phone to replace or level up Siri. Um, but
I
speaking
will
of
say when
that,
it
go
happens,
ahead.
it's going to be like beautiful.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What's wild to me, I mean, what is it, $3,500 for the Apple Vision Pro, which they don't want you to call it. It's not a VR headset. It's a spatial
Yep,
computing
spatial
headset,
computing.
which is what? What? But I will say the
Yeah.
user interface for that headset is by far, I haven't played with it yet, but from what I've seen, it's by far the best UI in a VR headset that I've seen using the MetaQuest 2, the
Oh
MetaQuest
yeah.
3. Apple does get design right. Like they do take their time. They come out with something that is like the top tier user experience when they do drop something. So their AI experience, I
Yeah.
agree with you. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be well implemented into everything that they do.
It's going to suck everyone back into the ecosystem that left.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and I don't know. I think next year I'll probably upgrade this to the next whatever the next phone is. I think this is the 14 Pro. Um, but I'm definitely getting the Google Pixel 9 Pro without hesitation. I'm definitely doing that.
You think they're going to throw a lot of improvements in it?
Oh, absolutely. I think the new Tensor chip that's coming out, I think the Gemini, if you upgraded your Gemini to the more advanced version, I think they're going to have better
Mm.
integrations with docs, sheets, slides. Is going to be very competitive with Microsoft Copilot, and your phone is literally just going to be able to do so much. Um, but I want to dig deeper because I've been to your house a couple of times when you lived in Newport News, and you are also a smart home appliance person. And I'm curious,
I am.
like, are you still a smart home appliance person? And if so, what type of smart home appliances do you have, and how does it make your life easier?
So it's definitely like changed since I was at that Newport News townhouse because
Okay.
there it was just my house, so I was ready to experiment with whatever. Now, my partner, she's not necessarily as tech savvy as me, so you
Okay.
got to give it that girlfriend approval pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
um so a lot of my stuff is still like I've got the smart lights where you just tell it to turn on and off.
Yeah.
Not doing quite as much with the routines. We were having it like when the alarm first goes off in the morning, it turns the lights on and it tells you about the weather and everything. But
Yeah.
then those days that you're like, actually 5 more minutes, all that stuff is happening. It's just
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I've dialed it back a little bit, tried to like kind of make it a little bit more like work for me type of thing.
Okay.
But right now in this apartment, I've done pretty much as I can without being able to like rewire things and everything.
So
I've
you
got
so
like
you
the
do
Google
smart
Assistant.
lights? Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So
Okay.
I've got like smart bulbs and all the lamps.
Okay.
And then I'll just basically so you can tell the Google Assistant to change it to this color, turn it on and off, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
So lights, you do the Google Nest Hub, or do you have the new Max, the Google Nest Hub
I've
Max?
I've only got the like regular Nest Hubs, like these ones down
Okay.
here.
Okay.
So just the standard ones. Because right now we're in 800 square feet, so everything's just kind of more compact.
Yes. Yes. Makes sense. Did you keep your the Apple, what was it? The Apple Tower thingy. What's the smart home for
The like the
Apple?
speaker.
Yeah, the smart speaker.
Yeah, the so I've got the home pods. I don't really use them for
Okay.
smart home stuff anymore
Okay.
because they're good for turning the lights on and off, but I'd rather be able to ask Google questions too, like on my way out the door.
Okay.
and the way the Google Homes handle timers and stuff like that is just easier. So the HomePod Max that I have, or whatever the original HomePod was called, I think it's just
Yeah.
the regular HomePod and the Mini. Those are my TV speakers, and
Wow.
that's all that they get
Okay.
used for.
You just Bluetooth sync them to your TV.
So it's actually a Apple TV that I've got
Yeah.
mounted up behind my TV,
Oh, I got you.
and it actually supports eARC. So anything that plays through the TV goes through
Yeah.
the Apple TV and then goes to the HomePods. And this is an example of like Apple could only Apple's the only ones that could do this because of
Yeah.
their ecosystem, I feel like. There's
Yeah.
no lag on these speakers. Like I can game on my TV with these speakers and it's all wireless,
It's perfect.
but there's no latency.
That's so. Have you tried Google TV?
Yes, that's what I actually like primarily use. Is my TV has it just built in.
Interesting. So I'm gonna ask you again, compare and contrast, like Google TV or Apple TV. Which one do you prefer to use? Which interface is better?
We're actually in the process of like kind of testing this out. I've got my girlfriend on board.
Okay. All
We
right.
are we have the Apple TV with all of our regular apps on it now. I like the Google TV interface more, and I like having the Google Assistant there. There's a button right on my remote for it. It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Apple TV is much more powerful than whatever processor Hisense just threw into this TV that I have. It's like
Yeah.
I use Plex a lot. We store a
Okay.
lot of like our movies and TV shows on Plex, and I've got a server set up, and it crashes a lot on the Android TV, but it runs like buttery smooth on the Apple TV.
Of
Everything
course. else.
is pretty solid on the Android TV, but
Yeah.
for some reason Plex is just a little bit heavier of an app, I guess.
That's that makes sense actually. I think the worst, I think in my opinion, I think the worst is the Fire Stick. When you have to like
Yeah.
compare Fire Stick to Google TV, Google TV would probably be the second worst. I still need to get an Apple TV. I've used it at some people's houses and it's really smooth. The interface is like really smooth. But again, I feel like the Google TV just has like more, you can do more. You can ask it questions. It I like the way that the recommended section is set up. It almost always
Yeah.
pulls content from YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, whatever I want to watch. It most always gets it right to what I want to look at next. So, okay.
And it does
All
a really
right.
good job of like integrating with Plex too. Like it scrapes my
Yeah.
Plex library and it'll
Really?
pull in recommendations from there.
See, yeah, yeah. But the interface can be wonky. Like with the Google TV, sometimes I'll be hitting the remote and the remote doesn't want to respond. So I have to go to my phone and use
Yeah,
my
nothing
phone remote.
happens.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird. So I don't know. I'll probably pick up when I get the new iPhone next year. I'll probably pick up an Apple TV just to test out as well. Because unlike some of the Apple fans out there, I don't want to be biased. I want to have the experience with
See,
both.
and
So
I feel like that's something that I'm learning for sure is like,
yeah,
okay, you don't have to be fully in one side or the other. There's great
yeah,
products from both sides and
yeah,
you can integrate them. They may not work as beautifully together, but
yeah,
they integrate in one way or another.
yeah. They do. I will say the camera for the Pixel though is like the best. It's the absolute best. Um, Yeah, I'll talk about that later on another video. But the Pixel camera with the AI that they put into it, where you can circle something and move it off the screen or make it bigger or smaller, or like the magic
Yeah.
eraser, all that stuff, it's phenomenal. Like, I love it. 'Cause,
And
I
it's like
will,
this is stuff that has technically been possible for a while, but the fact that they
yeah,
can just build it into this little phone
yeah.
and it works just as good, if not better.
Just as, like what's crazy to me, and then I got another question, but what's crazy to me because I'm nerding out right now. I will go into Mid Journey. I will go into Mid Journey, create some beautiful work of art, let it be saved in my Google album, and then edit it from the Google album and move stuff around and then like use the magic editor to change it up. It completes a completely different picture and it's so beautiful. And the customization and the way that AI can just work together from Midjourney and the Google Camera app, it's so good. I'm so excited. Such a
It really it's I feel like it's a new tool that people haven't really found all the different ways that you can use it yet, because it really
yeah,
does, like, people will go into Photoshop to finish their photos out, but you can really add this into your workflow and
yeah,
change up your picture in different ways that you haven't been able to before.
yeah, yeah. It's mind blowing. Like I'm trying to get somebody who's listening to this call who's like, I want an iPhone. No, try the Pixel first. Give it a shot. It's cheaper. It's way
Yeah,
cheaper. And then if you don't like it,
it always is.
yeah, that's true. Any Android phone is going to be cheaper than an iPhone. Um,
And I've always thought that's so funny because the carriers just give these iPhones away.
really? Yeah, actually, you're right. They
Yeah, it's like
do.
anytime that you do, like, oh, free upgrade when you change your number, or a lot of times AT&T now is doing, like, if you just give us your old phone, we'll give you this new one. And they suck you
Yeah,
into a contract that way, but you're
yeah,
getting a phone and not really paying for it.
yeah, yeah. That's true. Like every time I walk down Sam's Club and the AT&T guy is there, it's like, come get this new iPhone. Get this new iPhone for free. Who do you have? I'm like, oh, I have Google Fi, and they're like, oh, I don't know anything about that. All right, you're good. Go ahead.
You haven't even heard of it, probably.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, what is that? Google has a phone service out? Yeah, they do. And I can't get rid of it because that's what my YouTube premium is going to. Um, but so I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about a more broad future here. You're 25 years old and you have the rest of your life ahead of you. If uh, you're not like even in the second quarter of your life yet, and yet there's so much new technological advancements that are coming out. There's new biomedicine research that is happening. Artificial intelligence is getting better. Um, our machines, our computers are getting way better. The video graphics with NVIDIA are getting way more powerful. Um, it seems that a lot of the stuff in the future is moving towards computing and automation, AI, and eventually quantum when we get there. At 25 years old, you still have a long way to go. How do you feel about that future? How do you feel about job security? How do you like how are you thinking, if at all, about what the next 20 or 40 years of your life is going to look like?
I feel like it is something that I think about probably too often. I've been told that I live in the future a little bit too much sometimes, but it's definitely crazy to think about, like, when I was, like, growing up when I was younger. It was like, okay, I had this laptop and we had this slow internet service. It was like the best you could get at the time,
Yep.
and it's like, just when you're on the cusp of, like, stuff just getting better, when you're kind of on, like, the early edge of it, it's crazy
Yep.
how much it can grow. Like, it used to be, whenever the new iPhone came out, you would have, like, oh, all these new things. This is a brand new phone. Like,
Yeah.
you really do need to upgrade because this one's going to be completely obsolete, just because it's, like, older specs and it can't really do
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah.
But now when the new iPhone comes out, it's like, okay, the camera's like maybe 12% better. It's got a different port. That was the biggest upgrade by far.
Yeah. Yeah.
In terms of, like, the future of technology from where we are right now,
Yeah.
it's we're starting to see kind of like what the next big surgence of changes is going to bring in terms
Yeah.
of AR and VR. It's something that for a long time people were like, this isn't going to go anywhere. But
Yeah.
just kind of like the smartphone back when Apple released the iPhone, once Apple gets on board and, like, invests time into it, and when the big players
Yeah.
all start seeing what's possible, that's when you start seeing that big growth. And I feel like AR and VR, we're getting to that point now. And
Yeah.
right, everything, whenever something new comes out and there's always these problems about it, people are going to complain about, oh, it's too heavy. That's the biggest complaint that I'm seeing about this Apple Vision Pro, is it's too heavy. But one
That's
day
wild.
it's going to be literally a pair of glasses that you put on, and it's going to
Yeah,
have all the same features, if not more. So tech right now is the worst that it will ever be.
ever be.
AI, hardware, all of it. It's the worst it'll ever be. It's only going
Yeah,
up from here. And that's just crazy to think about.
that's true. Like, but thinking about that, how do you like? What do you do? What do you do? Like, are you hoping for a universal basic income? Like, how do you compete? How do you compete with it?
It's
Like, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's true. Like there's when stuff is advancing this far,
Yeah,
it's a lot of things that can be unsure in the future. Like
yeah,
AI is gonna probably take away a lot of like customer service
yeah,
or technical support roles where it's like, okay, I need to figure out what's going on. Let me call in and see if this person can help me. You're going to
yeah,
call in and you're going to get a robot. In some cases, you do already get a robot, but it's not good. So
yeah,
imagine that robot that
yeah.
picks up the phone is powered by Gemini or ChatGPT, and you can tell it in plain English what you're trying to do, and it's like, okay, it's done. What else? And
Yeah.
and I don't know what it's going to look like for companies actually wanting to implement that, but eventually, once we get to that point, that's a lot of jobs that are just kind of taken, and what are you going to do from there? There's always going to need to be
What do
people,
you?
but they're not going to need to have as many. So it's
That's
that part is
true.
scary for sure. it's
Yeah.
um it's a matter of seeing, like, trying to figure out where everything's going to go and where you can still help, like in my role with the company that I'm with right now doing tech repair. Like I'm on site physically repairing these things. I think that that's going
Yeah.
to be roles like that will probably always be necessary because
Yeah.
until we get robots powered by AI, you're going to need somebody to go unplug that router and plug it back in.
Yeah, that's true. That's
But
what Tesla is working on right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
once that, like, if they get the refinement on that, then that's going to be even scarier to think about the
Yeah.
future of like where we all fit in. But I think that when that time comes, there's going to be definitely new roles opening up in different ways. A lot of people today are getting started with IT much younger
Yeah.
because it's just like part of life now.
Yeah.
So that higher understanding at a younger age is definitely going to help people. But at the same time, the older generation needs to figure out a way to stay in and be part of it too.
Yeah. To be uh that's you're right. You're absolutely right. It sounds so bad. But there's going to be a lot of opportunities that go away, but there could be a lot of opportunities that are created. One of the things that I'm thinking about, like you mentioned, VR, like this is the worst that it's ever going to be. Um, does like the convergence of virtual reality and cryptocurrency come together so that people can find jobs in VR, doing role playing things like what is was the anime Code Lyoko or like Code Lyoko, Ready Player, not Ready Player One, Solo Level. Like some of these cartoons that we're seeing where people are going into VR and do a job. Is that where we're going? I don't know, but I could see value being provided in these virtual reality spaces that allow people to actually work and earn a living there. But you don't know. Like we just don't know what's gonna happen. Are you
Yeah,
excited
and it's
about the whatever though? Like
I
whatever
I definitely
happens,
am
are you
excited to see where
excited to
everything
see it?
goes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think that there
Okay.
is going to be like a lot of learning that's going to have to happen on everyone's part. But big tech is going to give us these things, and we're going to figure out what to do
Yeah.
with them. And like with the Vision Pro, a lot of people are like, okay, but what does it do? And people are just figuring that out right now because it's kind of a
Yeah.
first gen, like, VR has been around for a while, but to a lot of people, this is the first, like, okay, this is the real VR product. This is spatial computing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different. It feels different than an Oculus Quest in a lot of ways. So
Yeah.
there's been just new, the more players that are in the game in terms of Apple just joining, the more things are going to come out. And so I think that we're going to be starting to see those like opportunities for, okay, we're doing this in a virtual space now. Like you were
Yeah.
saying, more working and more different ways to build like a maybe a virtual economy.
That.
All those things are
Yeah.
probably going to start coming up, and I'm very excited to see them for sure. It's just going to be a matter of we got to make sure that everybody is on board.
100%. No one gets left out in that we're able to onboard people into this new reality. It's definitely difficult. I think especially you get to watch. I don't know if you were aware of Bitcoin back in 2008 when like Satoshi Nakamoto actually started releasing it, but you were aware of it earlier, right? And now it's like
Yeah,
the amount of times that I go to a restaurant, I did this with one of my friends. We went out to lunch and I asked the waitress, has she ever heard about ChatGPT? And she was younger. Like, I feel like she was in her early 20s and she said no. She's never heard of it. She's never used it. And it's like, wow. Like we're now in this space again where culture moves so fast that it's hard to get society to keep up with the changes that are happening. Um, it's going to be a challenge to like onboard people onto these new realities when they're happening so quickly. But hopefully we can
yeah,
find a
and
way to
I
get
think
it
that
done. Yeah.
definitely, I think that advertising and like just demonstrations are going to be a big part of that because I feel like AI hasn't necessarily fully reached the point. You'll see it in like a Samsung or a Google Pixel commercial and be like, this phone has AI. But a lot of people see
Yeah.
that and it's like, oh, AI. That's all it means to them is just those two letters. And so I feel like a lot more in depth information about it needs to get pushed out to the public in an easy to understand way.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
before me and my girlfriend had started dating, she'd never heard of like any of these like assistants. Like she hadn't heard of ChatGPT. She didn't know about
Yeah.
Bard or anything. This is a little bit before Bard, but when
Yeah.
ChatGPT was first getting started, I was introducing it to her. Like once she figured out, okay, I could type in something here and it's just going to tell me whatever I want up there. Like it's so easy, but
Yeah.
just getting people introduced to that is going to be a big challenge, I think.
There's going to be a lot more coming down the pipe that we're going to have to get used to, and we're going to have to like get people to adopt. We're going to have to get them to think about how society and culture works a little bit differently. With that being said, though, we are on the cusp of being a, I'm going to say, quote unquote, immortal species. Like they're saying by 2049, with the rise of artificial intelligence, is going to help us be able to solve problems where we can completely remove the glass ceiling of aging from humanity. Is this something I'm just curious, like is this something that you talk with your partner about? Like do you have conversations about, hey, do you want to live forever? I want to live forever. Like what like what do you want to do if this becomes a thing?
We haven't really had like those conversations before. I feel like
Okay.
I do definitely introduce her into technology,
Yeah.
probably more than is like I probably get annoying with it sometimes because I'll just turn into a huge nerd all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I feel like that conversation is I don't fully understand myself how we will get there. I know
Yeah.
that eventually technology will get to that point. Like technology just grows in ways that we've never thought of. Nobody would have thought that I could just talk to this thing on my phone and it could tell me perfectly how to script something. And I've never written a bit of code before.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's things that you'll never think is possible, but eventually it is going to come to that. So those conversations I haven't personally been having yet, but I
Yeah.
think that eventually like it is something to definitely keep in the back of your mind.
Is it something that you would consider? Like, if someone said, I'll give you an additional 200 years for you to live to see what crazy shit we decide to do as a species, is that something you would consider? Or are you over like all the stuff that's going on in the world and like, nah, I just want my 100 years. That's all. I don't want any more.
It's definitely like a back and forth because the huge nerd in me is like, oh, I want to see what comes out in like the year 3000.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
there's definitely a lot of factors to think about.
yeah,
There's a lot of like things that you will see in that time that's outside of tech too.
yeah.
But it would be cool. I would. It's not something that I would just immediately mark out.
Okay.
The huge nerd in me wouldn't be able to.
It's something that you're gonna have to sit down and really contemplate. Like, this is a very big decision of adding life to it, because it's not just you, it's you and your partner. It's you, your partner, your kids. It's you, your partner, your kids, and
Family,
like,
everybody.
yeah, everyone. You have to take into like financial, like where you are financially, where you are professionally, what does your health currently look
Yeah.
like? Can we get rid of something that you have so that you can have a high quality of life? I think about this stuff. It haunts me. It haunts me a lot. It's like, do I want an additional 200 years? I do. I really do. I want to be like General Kenobi from Star Wars, flying spaceships from Earth to Mars. Like, I want to do that.
Mhm.
That's cool to me. Um, I'm interested when you think about like the craziest shit that you can think about with the future. What is that like? What's the big thing for you that's like, I really don't know, but this would be really exciting if it happens? Like, what gets you really really excited about the future?
I think just continued ease of use of technology, just blending it into our daily life.
Okay.
Now, that probably is how that might be like the steps to actually getting to that, okay, we're living a lot longer now. Like we can just kind of upload your conscience into this computer. But just general computers being more of a part of our daily life. I think about a very small one that really brought technology just more into everybody's life is AirPods. I feel like it's not something that's
Yeah.
really thought about a whole lot, but
Yeah.
you technically are connecting a computer into yourself. And a lot of people, including myself, will
Yeah.
work with an earbud in all day long. So you're just
Yeah.
constantly have this little speaker in your ear. And with mine, I could just be like, Google, what is this? Like I could
Yeah.
just ask it a quick question. I can tell it to send a text and it just blends into my daily life. We're seeing that
That's
with the AI pen too, the Humane AI pen,
yes.
which
Yes.
I'm super interested to see where that goes. I don't know. It looks like a very first generation product right now. It's giving the first
Yeah.
iPhone.
It's
But
giving Game Boy
it's
Color.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
N-
it's one of those things that's going to add more just like computing to our daily life and something that if well executed, it just kind of blends in and you forget about it.
yeah.
It's something that you just reach for. Just like our
Yeah.
phones, it's like a lot of people don't even have a computer. They just do everything on their phone.
Everything. Yeah. Yeah. And I 100% agree with you. I think like we're really getting to the place where Jarvis is a thing. There was when Microsoft first did their announcement of Copilot and they had some internal beta testing, they made this statement that resonated with me. Like, it's a big statement to make, and I don't think a lot of people heard like really what they were saying. They said that with including Copilot into Microsoft Excel, they were able to unlock the user was able to unlock 99% of the capacity of Excel, where users would usually only use about 12% of the software. So, like,
Wow.
having natural language, having these large language models uh, be like the interface of these technologies makes it so much easier for people to use and allows you to do so much more. It allows you to be able to create your own design studio. Maybe the way you think about design is different than somebody. So the way you talk to a large language model allows you to create completely different designs than someone else could possibly do partnering with AI. you're absolutely right. I'm excited for that opportunity as well. I'm really,
That makes me that makes me kind of think about like how it's AI and like just being able to naturally use language to tell it what you're trying to do. And
yeah,
me being like, I know a lot about a lot of different aspects of computers, I feel like, but
yeah,
Excel, I don't fully understand
yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
something that like just natural language with Excel, I feel like would help me.
yeah,
And it makes me think about how tools over generations have helped people get more out of their computers. If you think
yeah,
about something like the Apple Lisa, I think that was one of the first ones to
yeah,
really have
yeah.
an actual mouse. And
Oh
so
yeah,
you went from having to type everything in on a keyboard to, okay, I can just move this mouse and click on
yeah,
something.
yep,
And it just felt more
yep,
natural. And using
yep.
natural language with AI is kind of the next iteration of that, or another new iteration of that.
Yeah, it's language. It's so interesting because a lot of people, historians, would say that what separates the Homo sapien from all other animals is the fact that we have been able to create this tool of language so that we can better understand one another. Um, Now we're giving that same tool technology that we created language and feeding it to our computers. And the next leap that we go to as a species because of that, and as you talked about how we augment our technology within ourselves, like with our AirPods or with our smart devices on our skin, like it allows, like, they say that we're going to go from Homo sapiens to something called Homo Deus, which are just like a whole new evolution of humans where we know everything. We have this hive mind, our consciousness are going into the cloud and will be around for a long period of time. It's really exciting shit. Or it's really terrifying
Yes.
stuff.
I mean, it's kind of like how the internet is right now. Like a lot of people, I mean, before the internet, there was not this huge connectivity. You couldn't just
Yeah.
Google, "I'm feeling this symptom. What does this mean?" You had
Uh,
to like go to the doctor or something, and
exactly.
I still
Yeah.
recommend going to the doctor instead of asking Google what's wrong. But it's like in terms of just connectivity and having access to all this different information, we're a more connected species right now than we
Yeah.
ever have been. And
Yeah.
that's just going to continue to grow where it's like, okay, we have this general intelligence bank almost where anybody
Yeah.
can just tap in, get the information they need, and then head out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah. Decentralizing this technology so that a lot more people can have access to it without a paywall up is going to be extremely important. Is going to be the way that the normal people who aren't like early adopters like you or I will be able to better onboard into this stuff if it's not behind a paywall. If you
Yeah.
don't have to pay $20 to get access to the best model that OpenAI has or that Google has to offer. So um, yeah, we're gonna have to figure that stuff out. But I appreciate this
Yeah, it could be
conversation.
super confusing.
Yeah, yeah. It's capitalism. It's gonna ruin everything. It's gonna ruin everything.
The paywalls and then just the ecosystems like, oh, I can do this on the Vision Pro, and technically whatever headset is out
Yeah,
that comes out to compete with that can also do this, but they can't do it in the same way, or they don't have access to the same base of knowledge, so you're working off of two different ones. That
exactly.
centralizing is definitely going to be a huge part.
Yeah, I mean, I want to contribute to solving this problem, and we're still on that path, but I appreciate this conversation with you, Noah. Like, this has been really great. I want a part two of this conversation. So we'll have to set something up for later. But for I don't think the date that we release this is going to be later, so people don't know this is Super Bowl Sunday that we're having this
Yep.
podcast on. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go and edit this and get some work done. But I appreciate this conversation. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Um,
I
is there
appreciate it
any?
too. It was cool talking with you.
Also, yeah, absolutely. Is there any? Is there like a last word you want to have for anyone watching this?
Mm, just pay attention to what's going on the next little bit, because everything's always changing, and you don't have
Yeah,
to be at the very front of it, but make sure that it's like on your mind somewhere.
somewhere. Yeah, try and like find someone or something like this podcast plug that can help you understand that can help you understand what new technology is out there that you may not be available that you may not be aware of. So all right, my friend, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks everyone for watching this. If you're watching this, joining us for another episode of Future Conversations with NERKS. Until next time, see you guys later.